Hi, my name is Teresa Migaletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. And today I want to talk to you about dragons and fairies and elves and unicorns and such things. So, the whole idea of this site is take what rings true to you, and if you don't believe something, that's fine. Just let it go. So, during trance classes, Sylvia Brown was a psychic medium. She would go sit on the other side, and her spirit guides would come in and talk to us. So some of these things I learned from those trance classes. So heaven, or the other side, is a higher vibration. So if you think of a fan, the earth would be like the unset fan. And then when you turn the fan on, it goes faster, 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 and you can't see the blades anymore. Well, the other side is like that. Its vibration is so high, we can't see it usually. Well, there's also lower vibrations, which are closer to us. So there's higher vibrations above us, and then below us is the underworld, not hell, the underworld, which is lower vibrations and contains beings like fairies and elves. So we're going to talk about that today. In movies, we often see spirits. Like my favorite one is in the movie Pocahontas, there's Grandmother Willow, who's a tree spirit. And the Hawaiians have many hunis, there's leprechauns in Ireland. Many, many cultures have little people or spirits that are not human beings. We're on the Earth's dimension, the Earth's vibration, and there are lower vibrations than us. The first and highest vibration below us is called the first level. And children may interact with these levels more than adults because they can see through the veil between the vibrations. Adults don't usually interact with these lower levels, although at times you may see or sense or feel fairies in a garden, which I've felt before, or you may see elves in a dream or see them through the veil. I know I was teaching a class on top of the sand. So the building was on top of the sand. So if you're in nature, dirt, sand, then beings can get through to you. If you're in a concrete jungle, the city, it's not likely that you would be seeing elves, fairies, nymphs, sprites, those kinds of things, because it's harder for them to get through. They aren't going to get through the cement. So, divas, fairies, nymphs are all at the first level, the one just below us, the vibration that is just below ours. And you would find them in nature, among plants. Nymphs you would find in lakes and rivers. Divas are the sentient energy in plants and things. There's diva energy in rocks and crystals and machines. I know I talked to my car, my last car I just talked to, I named it, I would talk to it, and it lasted and lasted and lasted till it just gave out. Maybe you have a favorite shirt and you just love that shirt and it just keeps lasting. My mentor Francine would say, the things you love you back. So they last longer. I know people talk to their copy machines, they talk to their printers, and they work better. So try it. You might be surprised. When we were going to have a horrible storm and freezing in my area, I talked to the spirits and the divas of my plants, and my plants all survived. In fact, they thrived. And my neighbors all had most of their plants die off, but they didn't talk to the divas and the spirits like I did. I also can sense the qualities in crystals and in stones. So I use those qualities of the divas to help people. So, for instance, one of my crystals has the qualities of calmness and tranquility. So I can use those qualities to replace the opposite for people, to take away anxiety and apprehension. So you can replace the yucky qualities with good qualities. The queen of level 1 is called Lilith, and you can call on her to help children and animals. If you have a lost pet, say, Lilith, please help me find my cat, da 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 da, whatever the cat's name is. And Lilith can help bring it back to you. If a child is in need, call on Lilith. Of course, we're all children, so we're all children of the Creator. Call on Lilith if you need help. Once I was teaching 6th grade, and one of my students was being awful. I had also had him in kindergarten, so I knew his family, and I decided to go to his house. I know I've told this story before sometime. As I started to enter the gate, I saw that there was a dog on a long chain. So I just said to Lilith, Lilith, could you please calm that dog and keep it in the corner of the yard? So I walked up to the front door and knocked on the door to talk to the family. And the whole family came to the front door because they wanted to know, how did I get to the front door without the dog being in my face? Well, because I called on Lilith. Okay, so Lilith, and that level is mostly elves and fairies and sprites and nymphs. The second level underneath that is actually elves are in this level. Not the fairies and nymphs and divas are the first level. The second level is elves and domes, and they're nature loving creatures. So you might sense them or see them in a forest or a mountainous area or streams. The nymphs are found in the first level, are found in streams and lakes, but the elves like to be near streams also. So you might find a leprechaun there, or you might find an elf there. I know when I meditate, sometimes I see elves because they're very close to Mother Nature. And when I'm grounding, I think of roots or vines going down into the earth, and I see elves with those roots going down. But you might sense them at other times. So, elves and gnomes. Gnomes don't especially like people, but there have been stories of them helping injured animals, but I think they like to just keep to themselves. Third level down, dragons and giants. Now, there are reports of skeletons of giants found on Earth. And when we hear stories of giants, most of the time we hear of them being gentle. Dragons are known to be strong and can be powerful and have been known in stories to give some of their power to people if they wish. And the main quality I think of for dragons is they can hold energy for Earth, which I think is very powerful. The fourth level down is unicorns and flying horses. Now, there are many, many stories of Pegasus and tales of unicorns. And I would think that folklore would not have those tales unless it was true. And spirit guides tell us they have seen flying horses, they have seen unicorns. And I believe the two mentors that I know, Francine and Rahim, would not lie to me. So there are other wondrous beings in the first four levels, like mermaids and magicians, good magicians. And any beings from those first four levels can easily cross to our vibration, our dimension, and be seen on Earth, sensed on Earth. Most of the time, the veil is there, so they're sort of invisible. But if you're quiet when you're sitting in a wooded area, or quiet when you're sitting in a garden, someplace without cement and asphalt, you may sense the fairies. You may sense an elf. You may sense a being. I know I think it was a brownie, and I've seen them more than once. I was in Sedona, which has a pretty high vibration, and I was sitting in a small group, and I saw this lady had like a little tiny horse with her, and I think it was a brownie. And it must be like one of her guides or companions along the way. I know somebody else who has a fairy with her. Actually, I've seen two people with fairies with them, and I could sense the fairies through the veil. So one lady has a fairy that's just always with her, and the other lady is a hypnotist, and I saw a fairy that just was accompanying her. So if you're just open to it and quiet at some times and just like sense what's around you, you may be able to see through the veil. Now, my mentor Francine said, you can practice seeing through the veil by closing your eyes and looking through your eyelids. Just practice closing your eyes and looking through your eyelids and figure out what you're sensing. So you aren't looking through the earth eyes, you're looking through your heavenly eyes. And maybe you can start sensing or seeing or feeling beings around you. I know often you may just see the edge of a spirit guide or the edge of an angel. It's just like, oh, there's a movement over there, and there shouldn't be a movement. It's like a change in light or something like that. And you may start sensing those beings around you. Okay, we've been told all thoughts are things. Well, thoughts are energy and they need to be stored somewhere. So the next level down, the fifth level, is where we have man made creatures, man made thoughts that uh, people thought of in dreams, or for one, the half man, half bull, half man, half horse. Uh, Guides tell us that in Atlantis, they tried making people, not people, but beings, where they would um, do genetic research and experiments and have half animal, half person. So some soul would have to be in that person if it was half human, and that would be an experience for someone. But those creatures, even like evil witches, would be kept at this next level, the fifth level down. Now, Lilith, the queen of the first level, would create a barrier at this level. So you may think of those in dreams, but they're not going to come to you in physical reality. So this fifth level down has the centaurs, half man, half horse. They have the cyclops, they have the goblins. The cyclops is the one with one giant eye, but they're not going to be leaking into our earth dimension. You may sense them in your thought, but you're not going to see them. They're not going to get up to our level. That's not a worry. Then the sixth and seventh levels down are just the dumps of our thoughts. So whatever we're thinking, we think of Buddha with a horn, then Buddha with a horn is in that level. Whatever you think of, the stories, the movies, the books, the tales told again and again, all the silly thoughts that you have, all those are in the sixth and seventh levels. And this is the level some people tap into in their dreams or in meditations or near death experiences, and they think they visited hell. They haven't visited hell, they visited the sixth or seventh level, which is not hell. So, now an important tangent. Spirit guides tell us that there's no transmigration. That is, if you're a mouse, in your next life, you're going to still be a mouse. If you're a person, in your next life, you're still going to be a person. Now, the exception, God is a creator and is all powerful. And I believe in this time of great change, we're changing dimensions and creating a whole new dimension, this shift from 3D to 5D, or whatever you want to call it. I believe God has chosen to allow some of his creations to shift existence for the greater good for humanity, for the greater good of this shift. Because I am positive I know of a couple of humans who are really angels, which would make sense. They can be go betweens on Earth's vibration for angels. So let's go back to dragons. They can hold great energy for Earth. Wouldn't it make sense that God may choose a couple of dragons to help play a role in this time of shifting dimensions so that they could hold higher energy for a shift in vibration? I think it makes sense that God, who's all powerful, would choose to shift some beings for the greater good of humanity to help shift in this time. We live in exciting times. And we have wondrous creatures that we may be aware of more because the veil is thinning now. So, the next time you go out in nature, pay attention. Maybe you'll see a fairy. Maybe you'll sense a fairy. Maybe you'll feel a fairy or an elf. Or if you're lucky, the lower vibrations. So the easiest one to come to across to our dimension is level 1. So the sprites and the nymphs and the fairies, those would be the easiest ones for us to sense or see. And then as we go down further, the unicorns are at level 4, so we would be less likely to see them. But you never know. So I would be so happy if you would tell me your stories and your feelings about any of the wondrous entities that are at level 1, 2, 3, and 4 who can come up to our level. I would like to see a dragon. I would like to see a unicorn. I would like to sense them. So I'm going to be on the lookout because I know that we are having a thinner and thinner veil. And I can't wait to see some of these other beings. And I hope you get a chance to see them or sense them too. Thanks for joining me. Bye. See you next Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Bye.